They called us the Verzel, the dominant force in the galaxy. We had crushed civilizations, broken empires, and reshaped history through conquest. And yet, among the many species in the stars, one stood apart: humans. They weren't the strongest, nor the most advanced. Their fleets, while formidable, were not unmatched. But their reputation? It was laughable. Diplomats. Peacemakers. A species that would rather talk than fight, even when wronged. We saw them as soft. Weak. For decades, they navigated galactic politics with their unyielding principles. When attacked, they sought negotiations. When betrayed, they forgave. Even when colonies were raided, they responded with diplomacy, never vengeance. Many in the council admired them. We did not. The Verzel saw their kindness as a flaw, a fatal weakness. And like any predator, we sensed an opportunity. It began with whispers in the void. The humans had grown too influential, their alliances too strong. If left unchecked, they could reshape the balance of power. We could not allow that. So, we acted. Not alone, but with others who feared humanity's growing reach. A coordinated strike. A swift, merciless assault on their outer colonies, their trade routes, their diplomats. They would surrender, we believed. They always sought peace. They would retreat, rebuild, and, in time, try to forgive. We were wrong. The response was silence. No pleas. No calls for peace. No desperate negotiations. Just silence. Then, a message. Broadcasted across every channel, every frequency, to every species in the galaxy. A simple sentence. You have mistaken kindness for weakness. That mistake ends today. At first, we didn't understand. Humanity had always responded with words, with diplomacy. But now, nothing. Their worlds burned, their people slaughtered, yet they gave no response. No retreat, no surrender. Only silence. Then, they vanished. Their ships abandoned trade lanes, their diplomats disappeared, their embassies across the galaxy emptied overnight. The humans were simply gone. That was when the fear began. Our fleets patrolled the systems we had taken, expecting retaliation, expecting some feeble attempt at reclaiming what they had lost. But nothing came. Weeks passed. Then months. The silence stretched on, suffocating, unnatural. The council grew uneasy. They reached out, desperate for talks. Still, humanity did not answer. Then, without warning, the disappearances started. Entire fleets lost contact within hours. No distress signals. No debris. No wreckage. Just gone. Planets that had aided in the attack reported power failures, communications blackouts. Then, they too went silent. We sent scouts. None returned. We sent spies. They never reported back. Then the first message arrived. Not a broadcast, not a transmission, just a single line, carved into the wreckage of a Verzel dreadnought found adrift in the void. We remember. Panic spread like wildfire. Defenses were reinforced. Fleets were recalled. Every species that had taken part in the attack braced for the retaliation they knew was coming. But we had no idea what was coming. Humanity had always been kind. Always been forgiving. Until now. The first strike came without warning. A Verzel war station, heavily fortified, shielded, untouchable, gone in an instant. No alarms, no battle. One moment it was there, the next, only silence. Then another. And another. Fleet after fleet, world after world, erased as if they had never existed. There were no survivors. No explanations. Only destruction. We scrambled for answers, but there were none. Humanity had never shown this level of capability before. Their ships were faster, deadlier, and somehow completely undetectable until it was too late. We had thought them predictable. We had been blind. Terror spread through our ranks. Some commanders abandoned their posts. Entire fleets defected, hoping to beg for mercy. It didn't matter. Because mercy was gone. It was not just war. It was annihilation. Every tactic we had ever used, Every strategy we had ever relied upon turned against us with terrifying efficiency. They dismantled supply lines before we could react. They crippled planetary defenses before we even knew they were there. They struck with such precision that even surrender was impossible. And with each attack, the same message was left behind. We remember. The Council pleaded for negotiations. None came. They offered reparations, territory, anything to make it stop. No answer. Humanity had made its decision. For the first time in our history, we were not the hunters. We were the prey. Worlds burned. Fleets crumbled. The might of the Verzel was reduced to whispers and wreckage. The others who had joined us in the attack suffered the same fate. One by one, they fell, not in battle, but in terror. Then, as suddenly as it began, it stopped. No final attack. No declaration of victory. Just silence. The same silence we had once feared, but now it was different. It was not the silence of waiting. It was the silence of judgment. Of restraint. A single transmission was sent to the Galactic Council. Not a demand. Not a warning. Just a statement. Never again. And we understood. Humanity had not wiped us out. They had chosen not to. Not out of mercy, but as a lesson. A reminder that the kindness we had mocked was not weakness. It had been a choice. A choice we had stripped from them. The balance of power shifted that day. The Council, once dismissive of humanity, now deferred to them. The species that had once been ignored, underestimated, insulted, now held the fate of the galaxy in their hands. No one dared cross them again. Not out of fear of what they could do, but of what they might become if forced to act once more. We had thought them weak. We had mistaken their kindness for fragility. We would never make that mistake again.